Good afternoon, family. How is everyone doing today? My name is Jonathan, and today is day 467 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. If this is your first time checking out one of my videos, a little bit about me. I'm 39 years old. I'm married. We have 4 children together. And I created this challenge to record my progress as I worked to lose weight. I started off at 519.8 pounds, and I have been using a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food plant-based SOS free diet to lose 199.6 pounds. So I am just that close to getting to 200 pounds. If you guys do like my videos, make sure you get subscribed to the channel. Click on that bell icon so you'll get alerted when I go live. Also, down in the description below, I have a Discord or a link to a Discord that I created, which is a place where you guys can get on and kind of share what your goals are or what you're doing to lose weight and keep me updated on your progress. Also, down in the description below, there is a link to a Pinterest board. A lot of times people ask what we eat or what we enjoy on our diet. And so that link down below is a link to many of the meals that we really like. All right, let's get going here. So yeah, if anybody has any non-scale victories, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories, or any on-scale victories. I love those as well. Any questions or comments, any topics you want to talk about, or anything you want me to talk about in a future video, leave it down in the comments below as well. Carrie's checking in saying, hey Carrie, I hope everything's going great at home today with you guys. Yeah, I'm really excited that I had that weigh-in that I did yesterday. Yeah, after the weigh-in, I probably ate more than I should have, but not anything that was out of that wasn't part of our diet. Uh, when I got home last night, dinner was going to be a little bit long. It was going to be about an hour before I got done, so I did have some leftovers of a lentil stew, I think, that we had on Gary says the picture in the thumbnail is something. Yes, you'll have to go check that out. It's only accessible when you look at the thumbnail. Uh so the a lentil stew, I think, is what it was called. I'm not sure, maybe Carrie will name it. And then she made us a meal that we had in the past, and I shared this, I think, on the Discord, or a picture of the meal on the Discord, and it was oh shoot, what's it called? Rosemary sweet potato casserole is what it is called. And I was gonna go ahead and bring up a photo of it here. So this was the dinner we had. This is a very pretty photo of the rosemary sweet potato casserole. I found it best to actually mix it all up, and I took my fork and kind of mashed it and almost made it like a mashed potato consistency. Um, or just, yeah, I really liked it mashed up. Um, uh, but eating it without mashing it up, I'm sure, was enjoyable. Uh Carrie says, "Oh, okay. So the lentil thing we had was something that had the word smoky in it, and it was from the recipe book, the plant powered families recipe. I'm stumbling. So it was a recipe from the plant powered families cookbook that we have. That was the lentil stew that I had. It had the word smoky in it. Maybe she'll get a photo of that and put it in the Discord like she did with the waffle recipe yesterday. But yeah, I really enjoy this meal, and it so I had that, I had the lentils, and I'm trying to think. We didn't have a lot of snack foods in the house, and we haven't had much for snack foods in the house for the last couple days, and me and Carrie were talking about that, and for us that's really good. It's probably good for the whole family. Um but I think that she actually went uh to Costco today. I don't know if she did pick up any mangoes, but we talked about not buying the mangoes anymore because they are getting a little bit expensive. It's like $18 for the bag. I mean, you can make a bag last a while if you want, but it is getting a little bit expensive for that. And I probably don't need the extra calories between meals. I can just eat more dinner. That's something that we're dealing with our kids, is that they are eating uh kind of foods that are high in sugar and high in salt and are vegan foods but aren't necessarily plant-based foods. And then when we're trying to get them to eat the plant-based foods, it's just not appetizing for them. They would much rather have chocolate hummus or peanut butter on bread than having something like the rosemary sweet potato casserole that we had last night. Carrie said that she did refrain from buying the mangoes, and the cashews was the other thing that we talked about. Cashews and maybe almonds. She said she didn't buy nuts. But I know we do use some nuts in our recipes, but having the big containers of them, it's just extra calories that we're eating that we don't really need to spend the time eating. So, not even having them in the pantry means that we aren't going to eat them, because if it is in your house, it is in your mouth. So, that is why we are holding back on having those for a little while here, just to kind of keep things going for me, and see how it does, because we're just so used to snacking, like that's part of the way I existed for 40 years, was having snack chips in the house, always having something at my disposal as a snack. And again, like we talked about with our kids, our older kids, because our younger kids are actually rock stars, are doing really good. But the older kids, we talked about that for snacks, we need to be going for bananas and apples and not Oreos and Sour Patch Kids, you know? So, um, and now I need to follow that same advice. I need to go for the bananas and the apples and not go for the cashews and the mangoes and the almonds and the walnuts and all those amazing, and the avocados, all those high calorie, high fat items. Uh, so yeah, we're trying to practice a little bit of restraint uh ourselves. Um, let's see. I had a bit of a non-scale victory that I was going to talk about here, and it is a non-scale victory, but it kind of makes me sad at the same time. Uh Yesterday, after the stream, I was talking to Carrie, and the shirt that I was wearing on stream is a shirt that's like my favorite shirt. And I actually have it. It's going to be hard to see in this because I don't have a better photo of it that I was able to get quickly. But it is this gray shirt here that has kind of these black stitching stripes. I can't even like, oh, I just hearted my own thing. But, um, anyways, I really like how that shirt fits. This photo in particular, I really like how I look. I mean, I'm a little bit posed, maybe. If you want to see this photo, you can actually visit my Instagram, which is Fasting, FAHSTING, uh, and see that post. But um, yeah, I love that shirt. And it's really, it's just the way it lays, it feels really nice and comfortable. But this morning I came here, or I got on and I edited my weigh-in video from yesterday, because I know some people like to have just the short weigh-in. so they can just watch that, and then they don't have to listen to me ramble for half an hour every day. Um, so I clipped out the uh the weigh-in, and in that video, just watching me stand up, I was kind of like, oh yeah, that shirt needs to, I probably need to retire that shirt. And Carrie had said that when I was talking about the shirt last night, that I need to probably retire that shirt. And I realized that it's pretty big now. Um, and kind of this morning going through my closet or going through my dresser drawers, I'm realizing that I have even more clothing that I really need to filter out. I kind of did a little bit of a purge, but it wasn't probably enough. And it's kind of frustrating too at the same time, because all of these sizings are like wildly different. Like one t-shirt might say 5X and it's smaller than another t-shirt's 4X. And uh sometimes, I have shirts that are big, so they're a little bit wider, and then I have other shirts that are tall, so they're not maybe wider, but they're for taller people. And uh I have to kind of just go through and filter through all of them and try them all on to see what is gonna work or not. I do have some, I'm pretty sure anything that says 6X on it and anything that says 5X on it, I'm pretty safe to get rid of. I do want to keep a couple things that, like the gray shirt, I want to keep one of those, and the black pants, I'd like to keep those, just so that I can kind of see the comparison at the end, um, from where I was to where I'm at now. Carrie says, yes, yes, she wants me to go through my dresser drawers. I can't even, like, I opened the drawers up this morning to take a couple things out, and like just by messing up what was in the drawers, I can't hardly close them. So I got to get rid of a lot of those gray shirts, because that was most of my wardrobe was wearing one of these gray shirts pretty much every day. I would go to the men's warehouse. It was, or DXL, whatever it is. It used to be one and now it's the other. And I would buy like 4 packs of those shirts, just the 5 or 6X, depending on whatever size I was up to most recently. So, that's my non-scale victories. I do need to purge some clothing and get rid of some things. I have been wearing some things that have been fitting better. The pants I have on here are some cargo pants with a belt. I don't generally wear, generally, for many, many, many years, I wore pants with a belt. And then for the couple years leading up to this challenge, I avoided belts just because they're expensive and I break them, and you just grow out of them. So you just buy pants with an elastic waist and a drawstring, and you can just keep getting bigger and bigger. You don't have to worry about that belt digging into your gut. So I've been feeling much better in clothes that fit too, I've always, and I know everybody has different things, with, just that, like where you allow things to be tight on your body. And I generally wear pretty baggy clothing. So it's getting, it's taking a little bit to get used to wearing things that fit a little bit tighter, because I would just rather wear a blanket all day like my son does in his robe. Anyways, um, I'd rather wear a blanket all day than wear spandex. So, um, so yeah, that's my non-scale victory. I had titled the video today, "Do you suffer from FOMO?" And do you know what FOMO is? First, I guess I should explain what FOMO is. And FOMO is the fear of missing out. And that is something that I have known that I have had an issue with FOMO for years. And I think that there's a lot of people that are aware of it. But I can remember back in high school how much, I wanted to hang out with my friends and I never wanted to go home. And so Uh, just because I was always worried that I'd come back to school on Monday and there'd be some story I missed or there'd be something that I missed out on. Now, I guess with cell phones, everything gets recorded so you don't miss out when your friends are being ridiculous at 2 in the morning. Because somebody is sure to have recorded it and sent it to you. But back in high school, back in my day, we didn't have that. So there was always that, like I always wanted to be there till the end of the party or until the bar closed because I didn't want to miss out on any of the fun. Um, and my grades definitely suffered from it, because I never had a fear of missing out, I guess, on academics or fear of missing out on what the teacher was saying, but I always had fear of missing out on the fun. Um, and like I said, there's a lot of people that deal with that. I think it's just part of a life, but I think that's what's more difficult or more important is like the predictive FOMO that we have. Like, I don't want to change because I'm afraid I'm going to miss out on this thing in the future. Like a big thing with my diet, giving up dairy, like that's that's the biggest or one of the biggest kind of hesitations anybody gives me is, oh yeah, well, I don't eat any processed foods. I don't eat any animal products. I don't eat any meat and dairy. And a lot of people are like, oh, I couldn't give up the dairy, and that's kind of a fear of missing out. They are afraid to start a diet, and it doesn't have to be dairy. It can be carbs. It can be going on the keto diet. I can't go on a keto because I'm afraid I'm going to miss out on fruits and vegetables. And but in most cases with, giving up something like cheese or giving up the high fat foods, that is what people are having the fear of missing out on. And um it's wild how crippling it is, and like I mean, I remember like not starting a diet because I was worried I wasn't gonna be able to have that burrito the next morning almost, like and it's like a trap, that you don't even realize you're in, but you use this fear of missing out on these high calorie, high fat foods to justify continuing to eat these high fat, high calorie foods when you shouldn't be eating them in the first place. Like, uh, that's how much control our hunger drive has. Like, it's unbelievable what your mind will talk you into, what it'll convince you reality is just to get those calories, and it's it's tough. And when people talk about changing slowly, that's you can't that's what like that fear of missing out continues to take over. Like when you say I'm going to start eating meatless Mondays, or I'm going to eliminate processed meats from my diet, or I'm only going to have a cheat day once a week, like you're you're allowing that fear that you're going to miss out to to be satiated. Like I don't have to worry that I'm going to miss out because I'm going to have a cheat day. And then that cheat day comes and you go all out, and a cheat day turns into a cheat weekend, and then it turned into a cheat week and a cheat month, and then you end up 519.8 pounds. So I think that as hard as it is, you have to just make the decision one time to just switch, to just change, to just go all in and not fight yourself on it. I don't fear that I'm going to miss out on Burger King's new thing. I don't the what was it? I don't know if this is actually a thing, but uh we were talking about the different burgers or something like that, and McDonald's came up, and I think that this is either something that you can make at McDonald's or it's something that you can order, but essentially it's called the Land, Sea, and Air, and it's a Big Mac. So it's the two patties and the three buns, and then on the bottom burger patty or whatever, I don't know the order, but on one of the burger patties they have a fillet of fish on top of it, and then on the other burger patty they have a chicken patty on top of it. So it has beef for the cow, fish for the sea, and chicken for the air. And I was just like, 2 years ago, I would have absolutely been all about trying that just to see what it was like, you know. But now it definitely just grosses me out. Like, uh, and it's because I decided to switch and went all in, and I didn't just dip my toe in and see if this plant-based thing was gonna be something. You know, it was uh again, I say this all the time, and I have to just continue to reiterate it too, is that I did not plan to eat a plant-based diet when I started this. I was never my intention, but I did plan to go all in with whatever I was going to do. I was going to spend my time educating myself as much as possible. And if you look down in the description, you can see the books I've read in the past 14 months. And that is a lot of education on this topic, just in that alone. And I committed to this way of eating and this lifestyle. And as much as people don't like it, it is a diet. It is the way that you eat. You know, that's what it is. Um, so you just have to make the decision once and just cut all of the crap out of your food, eliminate it from it being a possibility. And another, like, years ago, I used to four wheel a lot. I was very active with our local ATV club. I was the club president at one point for a year. I went all over the country ATVing, Indiana to West Virginia to Utah to Oklahoma. I went all over the country ATVing. And it was because I was into ATVing and that's what I was focused on doing. And I didn't want to miss out on any of the fun that all of my friends that were ATVing were having. And I would spend time working on my ATV and, uh, it consumed a lot of time. I mean, I learned how to work on an engine that had a carburetor on it. I knew engines had carburetors but I didn't understand how they worked. But, now I can take a carburetor apart. I could clean the diaphragm. I could replace the jets. I could, do lots of things with them. And, uh, but it was because that was what I was focused on. That's what I was doing. And anyways, the fear of missing out though is I never wanted to miss an ATV trip. I always wanted to go and hit the newest location or ride the newest trails. And once I kind of switch gears and am not doing that anymore, I don't miss out on any of those things. I mean, I would love to go back and do those things, but it just changes. Like I've made the decision that I wasn't gonna go. We had kids, and it was just wasn't feasible to keep being active in that. Um, and so it's like I said. I guess I'm just trying to is now that meat's not a part of my diet, I don't miss it. Now that dairy's not a part of my diet, I don't miss it. And even the stuff that's trying to pretend to be like those things. I mean, The only thing I could say is the tortilla chip queso dip thing that Carrie had this past weekend. That was great, but I don't know that wasn't really trying to be. It doesn't feel like cheese. It has just this spicy flavor. But I don't want queso. I don't have any interest in having queso. Like the greasiness of it, the the way it's made, what it's consisted of, it just doesn't appeal to me anymore. And so I don't have that fear of missing out with my diet. Before I started this, I was very worried that I was going to miss out on all these things. I had an absolute horrific fear of missing out. And now that I've done this for 15 months, I don't have that fear was unfounded. I'm glad that I didn't let it overcome me any longer. And that's really what you need to do is you have to make the decision to change and don't let that fear of missing out on the next cheeseburger overcome you. All right, guys, that's about all I had for today. Again, if you have any questions, any comments, leave them down below. If you have any experiences with FOMO in your own life, I'd love to hear that as well. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, get subscribed now. Click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live, which is usually 4 p.m. on weekdays. If you haven't started your diet yet, get started right now. There's no reason to wait. There's nothing coming up that's more important than your health and your overall well-being. Nobody reaches their goals and says, man, I wish I would have waited. Everybody says they wish they would have started sooner. They wish they would have known how good they'd feel. They just never wish they would have started later. Doesn't happen. And go all in. Don't fall for the myth of moderation, the myth of moderate consumption. We're designed to consume as many calories as we can get our fingers on. And if you don't have to fight yourself all day, then why would you eat a whole food, plant-based, SOS free diet? And the myth of moderate change, you're not going to be able to resist those temptations. You're not going to be eating a spinach salad and then all of a sudden decide that you like that more than the bag of Oreos. You got to get rid of these high calorie, low volume foods and focus on low calorie, high volume, high nutrient content foods. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope you guys all have a good evening. And Carrie's going to drag me roller skating. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll throw up a photo. All right. Here's this photo Carrie wanted to see.